thank you so much, Dr. Lawton Liara, for organizing this meeting and also for bringing all of us together. I've had training grants for nearly 20 years. That's just a little bit, well, I'd say 15 years, but just a little bit about myself. I'm a professor of public health at California State University, Fullerton. I received my PhD, my bachelor's in cell biology and biochemistry at UCSD. And then I continued on to do my master's there in immunology. And what all of you mentioned right now in terms of mentors, I think it's such a key factor, of course, in individuals pursuing graduate careers. And so I received my PhD also from UCSD. I did the long haul and stayed there. I had some great mentors. I started out working in mouse models in immunology, doing fluorescence stains. But then I also was working in a population-based study. I thought, wow, this is pretty interesting. I had a very theoretical background. And so I continued on to get my PhD in public health. Most of my research is in modifiable risk factors, particularly dietary intake and how diets influence disease outcomes in vulnerable populations. So I'm very interested in looking at health disparities, and how modifiable factors, quote unquote, and not modifiable factors have play a role in health disparities. So, as I mentioned that, it was great to hear how Dr. Brown talked about the mentorship of Dr. Lowe. And so I work in an institution that is a Hispanic serving institution, predominantly Hispanic, first generation students. Most of our students are 40% are first generation students. And so having that mentorship for those students is key to success. And so it just solidifies the importance of mentorship for underrepresented students and for undergraduate students who are interested in research. Without that mentorship and kind of turning on that light bulb for them, I think it's really hard for them to really fathom pursuing another 7 years of education. So that's just a little bit about myself. And so I'm going to turn on my timer, so I don't want to go over, or maybe Dr. Lawton can stop me and say, hey, you're going over.
I'll give you a warning.
Okay, great. So today it's my pleasure to talk about a small piece of our training program that we've had previously for 5 years, extended into another year of 6 years. But our current training program is Neurocognitive Aging and Analytics Research Education Program, NAIR. And part of NAIR is to develop Alzheimer's disease-related dementia multimedia education materials or curricula for undergraduate students at HSIs and at MSIs. And this is in partnership, and I'll talk a little bit more about this partnership between Cal State University Fullerton and the University of California, USC, the University of Southern California, and of course funded through NIH. So the NAIR program objectives, of course, a primary objective is to train and provide student research experiences. We will engage 3 cohorts, so 10 per year, so a total of 30 undergraduate students in a 2-year faculty mentored yet student-led research experience. That's what we want in the areas of neurocognitive aging and ADRD. The second goal, which I will be talking about today, is to develop curricula. And of course, we've developed traditional curricula through 16-week coursework. We've developed seminars, but what we wanted to do is look at a new avenue of developing curricula for students in these areas. And what would be a different way of reaching these students? So one of the aims we decided to do was to create short videos to reach a wider audience. And so that's what I'll be talking about today. And our third goal, of course, is graduate school preparation and career preparation. So those are the 3 goals. So just to provide background for this curriculum video development, we've had an existing partnership with USC. It's been an exceptional, extraordinary partnership over the last 5 years. We've trained 18 students, but over 24 students, virtually, of those students, 75% applied to graduate programs, which is master's program, and 100% of them were accepted, and a couple of them to PhD programs out as well. So that program is the Big Data Discovery and Diversity Program, BD3 REAP. And so I'll be presenting some of the data that we received through our multimedia curricula development with that program. So just to give you further background on it, we know that multimedia plays an increasingly more prominent role in higher education. We also know, of course, there's frequent multimedia utilization in our current generation, you name it, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I could go on, and I don't know all of those, but I could go on and on, but the utilization is really there. And there are definitely benefits for multimedia learners. It includes deeper understanding of the material, improved problem solving, increased positive emotion, and access to a vast variety of information. And it's also an avenue to augment current educational techniques. So as I said, we use traditional techniques such as lecture styles, but using multimedia education can augment these traditional techniques. And research also shows that information obtained through visualization is retained 83% of the time, compared to only 11% retained through hearing and 5% through other. And also other studies show, in terms of memory and recall, that 50% of the content presented via audio and video is remembered, whereas only 10% through reading and 20 to 30% through audio or video. So there's different learning styles that we should consider. So for a previous program, through an iterative process, we developed the learning competencies, learning objectives, and the main goal, the main area that we wanted to actually develop is in data science and big data, with a focus on neuroimaging and brain health. And then the video was shown as part of a curricula to introductory courses. And then we also had a post-viewing students complete a survey, which was mostly on a 6-Likert scale survey that queried on things like prior exposure and knowledge to that area, their self-perception of learning, also their future interest in that particular field, and then also their background and academic information. And I did want to mention about this partnership with USC. USC is one of the awardees of ADNI that Dr. Lowe discussed, and of Lonnie. So even though this was on data science, it was focused on neuroimaging. So actually our students got to go and actually utilize that huge Tesla scanner. They actually became familiar with Lonnie Pipeline and how to use Lonnie Pipeline to actually manage and manipulate brain imaging data, neuroimaging data. So just wanted to mention that I will mention it as big data, but it was in the context of brain health and neuroimaging data. So, but the video was really more on a broader scale. I mean, it's been the buzzword, big data, data science. So we really wanted to see the interest our students had, or broader students had. So we developed this video, and actually on YouTube, we have it available on YouTube as well. I'll let you look at it. I have a couple of other clips I want to show you of our current program. So I'll let you look at that when you're ready at that time, whenever you have time. But for the video, we do have data. It's a lot of data information, which is good. So we surveyed 2,217 students, so broad outreach. We have 4,748 views on YouTube. Of our population, 60% female, 40% male. And in terms of ethnicity, a majority of them were, a third were Hispanic, a third about Asian, and 22% non-Hispanic white. And most of them were STEM majors, because those were the classes we were targeting, were STEM classes. And so once again, this table on the right shows our data. And similarly, I had talked about gender, ethnicity, most of them were female compared to males. But what we also did was we wanted to see, was there a difference after they viewed this video in their overall learning experience? And what we found was that women, the females actually showed that they had a higher learning experience than the males, statistically, we're at 0.05. And there was actually a difference between intended majors. So, I mean, we can extrapolate on that, but I'll just show the data right now there was a difference between males and females. And overall, their learning experience on a 1 through 6 Likert scale was really high, almost a 6. So a majority of them had a really favorable learning experience after watching the video. Also, it was interesting, and this was another thing we wanted to gauge is how familiar are students with data science? Very few of them said they were very familiar, only 8%. So most of them were not familiar with this area. And so that showed us that we have a lot of work to do. We need to reach these students. And so we're going to do the same thing for this program. We're going to talk about ADRD. We're going to talk about aging. What are factors related to aging? What are health disparities? So just to give you some of that background. And then furthermore, we actually wanted to also see what are their future interests in STEM. And what we found is that about a third were interested in going into the data science field, and to follow a career pathway in that field. And also it was interesting that after watching the video, which was, I should say, 32 minutes long, after watching the video, how was their level of interest in working in the field? And about a third of them said that after watching the video, it really did pique their interest and it increased their interest in pursuing this area. And this is just their perceived gains, that after watching the video, did they have gains in these areas? And majority of them, 75% of them agreed. And if you take those that even slightly agreed, 90% of them agreed that they had an increased understanding of data science. They knew how to define it. They understood the elements of it, so on and so forth. And in terms of the overall learning experience, 75% of them, and actually virtually 90% of them said that they had a increased valuable learning experience after watching the video. So what can we conclude? What we concluded is that the video was well received and it proved to be an effective learning tool to introduce STEM concepts to a broader audience. And so that goes to the second point, that we were able to reach this broader audience, nearly 5,000 students in a span of 4 years. And we surveyed nearly 3,000 students in that span of 3 years. And it also promoted student interest in the field. And then also it's a tool that's more readily integrated across disciplines. So we showed it in math, biology, public health. But the feedback we got from the students is qualitative, was that the video was too long. So we know in terms of like concentration and focus that now, well, I don't even know how long these TikTok videos are, but maybe like a minute or so, but the length was too long. All of them said that. But they said that it was useful, and it also, they had asked for more detail. And of course, it's a 32-minute video. So some students did want more details on analysis, software. So that just brings us to our current project, which we just started. We started this project.
She just froze there, didn't she? Oh, Archana, come back. Is it just me that froze, or everybody?
No,
Yeah,
I just unmuted, so
yeah,
frozen. Yes.
oh, that's such a shame. That is one of the downsides of Zoom. People in real life freeze up for different reasons, but not quite like that. She was very close to the end of her talk. Let me see. I think we're probably just gonna have to go. I think we just lost her. If I'm not mistaken.
Can she call
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, she got dropped out. All right, so that's tremendously unfortunate, but maybe we should just move on to Julie. Wait, she seems to be back. I saw her for a moment.
I'm back. Oh my goodness. When we're on a roll and then that happens, it's just like the worst. That's the worst. Let me get back on. Okay. Oh my.
You were very close to the end.
I know. I didn't want going to show you a clip. We've been working really hard on this, so I'll show you the clip. So it's a process. I was at 11 minutes, so I'll just go through quickly. So it's a
Yeah,
process.
you have 1 minute left, but we'll.
Oh, is it 1 minute? Okay.
Oh,
So
well, you lost a little bit.
yeah. So it's a process. You know, you have the pre-production, production, and then we have to get the expertise on board too for the videos. So we went ahead. This is what we've done for this particular video. So we decided to do shorter videos. We're developing 5 videos, a 15-minute video that's going to provide that's broader perspective on the aging population. This we'd like to share across GE courses on campus, just to generate interest in the area. So it's on the aging population and the aging brain. We'll be discussing the global aging phenomenon, differences in brain aging, what's normal, what's not normal, so ADRD, dementia. And then we have other videos on aging brain health disparities. Can we modify? Can we do things to change brain health? And what are the research methods within this area? And then the last one is on neuroimaging and analytics. So we're developing 5 videos. These are the core learning objectives that we'd like the students to obtain after they view the video. Our video 1, the key objectives are to discuss global aging phenomenon, identify differences. So of course, the aging phenomenon that we see, and then identify differences, brain differences between a controlled brain and Alzheimer's disease. And of course, the hallmark of Alzheimer's disease in terms of amyloid plaques, neurofibrillary tangles. And I'll just show you a quick video. Let's hope this works. I have 2 little clips to show you of what we've started on the project. So can everyone see that?
The aging population, actually globally,
Yeah, we're not seeing the video.
is rapidly increasing. It's
My
expected
guess
that
is you must have shared just that screen.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Share your sort of global
Yeah.
option.
Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I see. I did want to share that let me see it. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing this screen.
That you have.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I will stop sharing this screen. Okay, so can everyone see this now?
All right, now we got it. Yeah.
Okay.
the aging population, actually globally and particularly in developed countries, is rapidly increasing. It's expected that older adults aged 65 and older will increase by as much as 1.6 billion globally by 2050.
People are basically having fewer babies per family than they used to globally, although country by country that varies a little bit, but globally fewer babies than there used to be. And so those older generations are now aging and there are fewer babies to replace them. So overall, there tends to be a larger proportion of older people than younger people. In the United States, the same thing. So, we had the baby boom right after the Second World War, and those baby boomers are now getting up into their 60s and 70s, and people are having fewer babies per family than they used to. So overall, the population is aging.
Okay, I bet you learned more from that than maybe my talk. I don't know. So from that little clip. And then I have one, so that gives a sample of what we've been working on, which has been quite extensive over the few weeks. And the last clip that I have, the second clip, is on health disparities and equity. And so I can share that quickly as well. Is there time for that? Or
No, we're sort of at the end. I want to have time for Julie as well.
oh, okay. So
No.
should I not show that clip?
Yeah, I think we should sort of move on. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great. So just wanted to mention, and this is our team from Cal State Fullerton, and just wanted to thank the faculty as well. Okay. Thank you.